Really scary, true, deep woods horror story. Story named Something Was Living in the Woods Behind My Cabin. On October 2019, I had rented a small hunting cabin deep in the forests of northern Montana. No neighbors, no cell service, just miles of trees in every direction. The owner told me one strange rule before handing me the keys. If you hear knocking on the cabin door after midnight, do not open it. At the time, I thought he was joking. I wasn't laughing 3 nights later, because something started knocking, and whatever was outside wasn't human. My name is Daniel. Every year, I take a week off work to go hunting alone. It's my way of escaping city life. That year, I found a cheap listing online for a remote hunting cabin. It was located nearly 40 miles from the nearest town, surrounded by dense forest. Perfect. When I arrived, the cabin looked exactly like the pictures. Old wooden walls, a rusty chimney, a small porch with a rocking chair. The owner, an older man named Rick, handed me the keys. Before leaving, he said something strange. If you hear knocking at night, ignore it. I laughed. Probably bears? Rick didn't smile. Just don't open the door. Then he drove away. The first night was peaceful. I cooked canned soup on the stove and sat outside watching the forest. At night, the woods came alive with sounds. Owls, branches snapping, wind through trees. Nothing unusual. Around 2 a.m., I woke up to a faint sound. It sounded like something hitting the cabin wall. Probably branches, I thought. Then I heard it again. This time it was clearly on the front door. 3 slow knocks. I checked my watch. 2:17 a.m. Who will be knocking out here? I grabbed my flashlight and walked toward the door. Then I remembered Rick's warning. Don't open it. I stood there silently. The knocking stopped. After a minute, I went back to bed. The next morning, I opened the door, expecting to see nothing. Instead, I froze. There were footprints in the dirt outside the cabin. Bare human footprints. But something was wrong. They were too long, at least 14 or 15 inches, and they led straight into the forest, not away from it. That meant whatever made them had come from the woods during the night. I tried to ignore it. Maybe some weird hunter walking barefoot. Still, something about it felt wrong. The second night was worse. I was half asleep when the knocking started again. This time was louder. 3 heavy knocks. My heart started pounding, and something happened that made my blood run cold. A voice came from outside. Soft, barely human. Hello. I froze. Nobody should be out here. Then the voice spoke again. I know you're in there, but something was wrong. The voice sounded wrong, like someone imitating human speech. The tone was flat, emotionless, like it had learned the words but didn't understand them. I slowly stepped away from the door. The voice continued. Let me in. Then silence. For about 30 seconds. Then I heard something moving along the outside wall. They stopped near the bedroom window. My blood froze. I realized something terrifying. The curtains were open. Very slowly, a shadow rose outside the glass. Something tall, too tall. Its head slowly tilted sideways, like it was trying to understand what it was looking at. Then 2 pale shapes appeared in the darkness. Eyes, staring directly at me. I shined my flashlight toward the window. For half a second, I saw its face, and I will never forget it. The skin was gray and stretched tight, like it didn't fit the skull underneath. The mouth was slightly open, but the smile looked forced, like it had learned the expression by watching people. Its eyes were huge, black, unblinking. Then the creature suddenly moved. Fast, too fast. It disappeared into the darkness. I should have left the next morning. but part of me kept thinking maybe I imagined it. So I stayed. Big mistake. That night, the knocking didn't wait until 2 a.m. It started at midnight. Harder than before. Then the voice returned, but this time it sounded different. Familiar. My stomach dropped when I realized why. It sounded exactly like my own voice. Daniel. I felt my hands shaking. Open the door. It repeated my name again. Perfectly, like it had learned it somehow. Then the handle started moving. Slowly. Back and forth. Back and forth. Then I heard something behind the cabin. Footsteps. Another set. Then another. Not one. Not two. But several. Moving through the trees. Circling the cabin. And suddenly I understood something horrible. The thing outside the door wasn't alone. I grabbed my keys and rifle. There was no way I was staying another minute. I waited until the knocking moved toward the back wall. Then I opened the door and sprinted to my truck. The forest was completely silent. Too silent. I jumped in and started the engine. As the headlights turned on, I saw them. 3 tall shapes standing between the trees. Watching me. Not moving. Just staring. I drove out of those woods faster than I ever have in my life. When I reached town, I told the cabin owner everything. Rick just sighed. Then he said something that still haunts me. That's why nobody rents the cabin for more than 3 nights. I asked him what those things were. He looked toward the forest and said, something that learned how to knock.